Well, I guess we might as well talk about some of the wrestling now, right? You know, Brian, every time I just wait from one of these shows to the next, I just fritter my time away just waiting to watch these shows with bated breath. And there's a word you don't hear enough of these days, fritter. Nobody fritters away things anymore. Ticking away the moments that make up a dull day, you fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way, kicking around on a piece of ground in your hometown, waiting for someone or something to show you the way. Nobody says fritter.
Isn't it awful that Jake has kind of ruined Pink Floyd for me? But anyway.
You know, that was the...
You know what I'm talking about.
That was the song when Jake no-showed me in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I called up and on his answering machine was the tune, I have become comfortably numb. Anyway, on SmackDown...
It's the greatest way to no-show I've ever heard of.
Actually, I thought mine was pretty good for several weeks after I left Ring of Honor at the end of 2012, and nobody really knew because I just said, I'm just going to wait and see if anybody misses me. I had put Peter Frampton, I can't stand it no more. I'm going away. I can't stand it no more. I'm leaving today. Nobody picked up on it. Anyway, SmackDown is what we were talking about, or going to talk about. This is from June the 10th on the Friday night. They were in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I just thought 40 years ago, the fans would have kicked the shit out of most of the guys on the fucking card. Baton Rouge was not an easy place. We almost got sued there one time. We did get sued, but the guy sued the city as well. He sued the Midnight Express and me and Mid-South Wrestling and Jimmy Killshaw, the local promoter, and the Baton Rouge Centraplex, the arena, and the city of Baton Rouge because they owned the Centraplex. And as a result, we one night walked across the street from the Centraplex to a lawyer's office that they had told us to go talk to. And this is I never even hit this fucking guy. He's the guy that he hit me and I tried to hit him. And Dundee's the one that beat shit out of him, and I drew back my racket and whacked a cop in the head. We talked to the lawyer. He said, I don't think you're going to have a lot of trouble with this. And we never heard another word about it. Try to sue the city in any city in Louisiana and see how far you get. So anyway, they were in Baton Rouge is where they were. Did you watch any of this program, Brian? You zipped through it at least.
I zipped through it. I did watch a couple of matches incomplete, but I zipped through the rest of the show. And then actually after the matches I wanted to see, I just turned off the show.
Yeah. Well, Drew and Sheamus with his buddy Butch was the first match. Haven't we seen these guys like incessantly for years now? It ended in a pull apart with camera work so peripatetic and erratic that I got a headache and had to look away because I was going to lose my dinner from last night. And that was the first 25 minutes of this 2-hour program. It was this match and aftermath. And then I was brought further down. They had a big report, a big package on Cody's injury and surgery, and he's now going to be out 9 months. 9 months. He's going to be out 3 times as long as if he'd have broken his leg. That's how bad and tough and slow healing these muscle and tendon tears and injuries are. But now we had one thing to look forward to in this company. Otherwise, I've come to realize with the WWE, it's so whitewashed and scrubbed and sanitized. It's like watching people fight through a window. You're seeing what's going on, but you can't really kind of get involved in it because it's just there.
On the topic of Cody's injury, you want to know who I'm putting my money on winning the Royal Rumble?
Who?
Cody Rhodes. 9 months, he'll be back for the Rumble.
But goddamn, we gotta make it to the Rumble. Jesus, actually 9 months.
It's a little Rumble less than the Rumble.
January.
No, I think they're gonna try. I think they're gonna try to get him back for the Rumble. If anything, otherwise you're gonna debut him in between the Rumble and WrestleMania.
That would be tough. So it's 8 months to the Rumble.
8 months to the Rumble.
Maybe they'll start the Cody countdown clock now with months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, seconds. God damn it. I wrote that on my notes. God damn it. 9 months we got to go. All right. Lacey Evans is on SmackDown now. And she did a promo, and it wasn't the hostage statement that, they've stood her up in front of a wall and made her give those awkward promos about her childhood stories. This was better delivery because it was more motivational, current, modern. She's got the patriotic gear. She does the salute on her entrance. She's a female Sergeant Slaughter. And she's got some size, and she looked like she was a little more comfortable, doing this promo about herself rather than, as I said, talking about the horrible stories of her childhood. We've got that established now, so let's move on. So I was thinking, I'm going to watch this match because now we just need to see if she can wrestle. Because when she was the Southern Belle, she would just come out, twirl her parasol, and turn around and go back, right?
Yeah, she waved a lot, and then she would walk away.
Waved a lot. So now we're going to see her wrestle. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to evaluate this. Well, she wrestled Xia Li. And they did a brief shine, and then Xia Li started kicking her ass. And I can't tell if Lacey Evans can work because she's trying to wrestle a 4.5-foot tall kung fu movie star wannabe, doing the leg sweeps and kicks and there was no wrestling involved on Xia Li's part. So if she was a badass, kick-ass looking person or some type of Sayama level tiger mask, defying gravity type of thing, okay, but this wasn't the way to showcase Lacey Evans' big debut as a wrestler on this program again in a new gimmick with Xia Li. And again, a brief shine, not 2 minutes of heat. Lacey makes a comeback because some awkwardness to that too. You can't be smooth trying to deal with all the quick kicks and everything. She did a weird headstand onto the turnbuckle into a butt drop on Xia Li's chest. And then Xia Li started to take back over and hit the ropes. And Evans just hit her with a fucking Ronnie Garvin hands of stone right coming off the ropes and dropped her. Boom, 1, 2, 3. So her finish is a knockout punch, and it didn't look too bad. I think camera angle had a big part to play in it, and I still have no idea whether this girl can work or not because you couldn't tell against Xia Li. So what'd you think?
I think they called the finish, was it either the woman's right or a woman's right? Which is pretty funny.
I hopefully that will be something that won't make it to next week. That's a little ridiculous, but
I like Xia Li's entrance. It's right out of The Last Dragon, so it's right down my alley. The match was what it was. It's the WWE Women's Division, and these are not two of the better women in it. And I like Xia Li, but like you pointed out some of the problems with her work. I guess my only issue was maybe I picked up on it wrong. But when Lacey Evans won, it was she sold it like, I can't believe it. I've finally gotten here and I've won on TV. It's like we're supposed to forget about the fact she was the Southern Belle out there shaking her ass and everything. This would be a lot more effective. This would be a lot more effective if we hadn't already seen her on TV with a failed gimmick.
Well, to be fair, nobody else remembers that because it was so forgettable. But, I mean, at least they took her off TV for a while. What was that, 2 years ago? She was a Belle. But they didn't just change it from one week to another like they do lately. Ronda Rousey. Are the people going to start calling her Ronda Lousy? She goes to the ring for a live in-ring promo. She's wearing the demon eye makeup. It's even more pronounced. So is this when she's not exercised, but when she is possessed by some demon? Does it come out in her eye makeup, and other times other personalities take over and she softens it up a little bit? She starts doing a promo in the ring, and it's prepared material, obviously, about the pay-per-view the Money in the Bank match coming up. But it's like she's being forced to do this interview because somebody is holding a family member hostage until she finishes. It doesn't look like she wants to be in there, does it, when she's speaking?
Not at all. She doesn't look like she wants to be there at all. This whole run has seemed like she was forced to be there and she doesn't want to be there.
So, maybe they got, what is her husband, Travis Brown? They've got Travis tied up in the back. The backstage area, dangerous place in wrestling. But she spoke for 30 seconds and not very convincingly. And then here comes Shotzi. And she brought some life into it because she still was reciting, verbiage she was given, but it sounded like she wanted to be there and she was trying. And the challenge was asked and answered. And they had a match. And Ronda won with an armbar. And, again, from the interview, you would have taken Ronda as the heel with the pouty face and the demeanor that she couldn't be bothered, but the demon eye makeup. And then here comes Shotzi and the people cheer because there's something going on with some energy to it. And then as soon as Ronda wins, Natalya, her opponent, at Money in the Bank, jumps her from behind. So apparently from the setup to this, Rousey came off as the heel and Shotzi came off as the babyface. But then as soon as the heel beats the babyface, then she's attacked from behind by another heel. And Natalya puts her in a sharpshooter and won't let it go. And there are 3 referees, a female referee and 2 grown adult male referees, standing there begging her to let go of Ronda Rousey, but doing nothing and not even touching Natalya. I can understand if it's goddamn Joe LeDuc with the bear hug or some giant monster with some hold. You're please let him go. It's a 150-pound girl and there's 2 men there. Pull her off. This show was already dismal. Dismal. What'd you think of this whole production?
I fast forwarded through it because Ronda Rousey has lost any star quality to me. She doesn't want to be there, or at least she doesn't appear to want to be there. They use her in ways that don't really make her seem like she's anything special. She went from being a really special wrestler on the roster to being just another person on the roster. I didn't care at all. And I knew it wasn't going to be worth me not fast forwarding through. I just knew it.
I couldn't have said it better myself, so I will move on without saying any more of it. Because the next match was what I wanted to see from last week that was advertised. I was, okay. And remember, I believe I told you, bet the farm on the result that I called. If anybody did bet the farm, then they're fucking happy today because they're rolling in money. The Intercontinental title, Ricochet against Walter Gunther. By the way, is the Intercontinental title belt one of the ugliest championship belts that you have ever seen?
When was the last time WWE did not have an ugly belt? They're all ugly belts.
It's abysmal. It looks like the AWA belt after Hansen ran over it with his tractor. Anyway, so I wanted to see this match, and obviously this is going to be the next step in Walter's push. He's going to win the Intercontinental title, so he has a belt. He's already got his henchman, Ludwig Gable Williams, or whatever his fucking name is, at ringside with him. And they go 90 seconds of this match. Ricochet ducks and dodges a bit, and Walter takes over with one chop that leveled him and started mauling him. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And they go to the break. 90 seconds in, I'm like, what the fuck? So they come back from the break, and at that point, Walter is giving Ricochet a couple of hope spots, and he does sell for smaller guys without going too far. Well, Walter does. He staggers and he flummoxes, and it's like, oh, he's got me off balance, but he's not kicking my ass. He's very smart. However, they let this go far enough that toward the end, I thought he was giving Ricochet too much foolishness and staggered around too much. I'm wanting just swat him out of the fucking air and beat him, and let's get to the business of this, which is basically finally what he did. He hit a drop kick that just knocked Ricochet ass over tea kettle and then powerbombed him 1, 2, 3. And I know they were, okay, the guy's the champion, we're beating him, so let's give him some offense at the end. But, I mean, he's a foot shorter than Walter. He's 100 pounds lighter. And let's face it, Walter's a star. Ricochet is on the card. So I think this should have been, it shouldn't have been any longer, but it should have been a little more one-sided. But why they needed a commercial break in the middle, since this wasn't any more than 5 minutes, I don't know, why. But again, so far, they have not got Walter doing Saturday Night Live sketches, so that's a plus.
Every time I see him, he's slimmer than the time before.
Thank you for that incisive commentary. What are you, his nutrition?
Every time I see him, he's noticeably slimmer than he was the time before, and it really is something because when we first started seeing him, it was, oh my God, imagine him in WWE or in the States. A guy that looks like that, a guy that could be physically imposing even though he's not cut. And he's still a big guy, but look at how trim he is now.
I like it. Because part of it's going to help with Vince, because Vince doesn't like guys that don't have a physique. And he did have a lot of meat on him. And he could still move and he could still work and do all of his stuff at that size. But now his cardio's got to be better. He looks like he's tanning too. So he's doing the things that Vince is going to like cosmetically. But he still reminds me of a Killer Kowalski or a Gene Kiniski. Or those arms are so long, the hands are so big, he hits so hard. You hear him when he lays hands on people. The body language and everything, I like the lean look because he still is so convincing. And now it looks like he can go forever. So with that height and the length of those arms and those big paws, I'm fine with it. And I think if they don't screw him up, he's so different and he's so much more polished of a performer than almost everybody else on the roster at doing what he should be doing, that if they don't fuck him up, he'll be big.
I will say also, I like, what's his name? His name is now Ludwig. I like him in the corner. He doesn't break. He holds that face and that look the whole match. I've kind of liked that part of it too.
He's like the fucking chauffeur of the commandant of the Stalag in the World War II movie.
That's right.
A little shystery looking fucking shady character. So then we were ready for the main event of SmackDown. Yes, that's right, folks. What we have just related to you was the rest of the program, except the main event was Sami Zayn versus Riddle. If Sami was to win, then Riddle would be barred from SmackDown. But if Riddle would win, that he would get a match with Roman Reigns next week on TV. And as a result, Paul Heyman was on color. And I gave serious thought to watching this, but then remember we timed Raw the other night. It was 19 minutes from the time that one of the girls began their entrance to the time the bell for their match actually rang. Well, they had some competition here. Sami Zayn started making his entrance at 9:25 Eastern time, right? 9:25. By the time they went from that to video packages and breaks and announcer resets and breaks again and another video and blah, 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 and Riddle's entrance and the giraffes flew out of his ass and another break and another package, the bell rang. Okay, Sami versus Riddle. Sami starts to the ring at 9:25. What time, Brian, did the bell ring to start the main event?
You said 9:25?
Yeah.
Based on what we did last week, 9:40.
9:42.
Wow.
17 minutes. And somebody emailed me, and I forgot to print it out, or I'll try to find it. But basically the gist is somebody that's gone to these tapings actually wrote me because I said, what are they fucking doing? Is there a goddamn lounge under the ring? Where are they going? They send the talent at stars, even stars. They send them out there, and then they get out of the ring and they stretch on the floor and they talk to the fans and they talk to the ringside TV crew and they do jumping jack, whatever the fuck. They're just out there. There is nothing more uncomfortable, especially when you're a heel, than having to go out there and stand in the ring and do nothing and wait for the camera to come to you. Because you're losing your fucking heat as the longer they first see you, they're going to be madder and they're going to scream and they're going to yell. But after you stand there, they've done it. And none of that's on camera. I used to hate that. But I can't imagine going out there. This is the kind of shit that guys in the 80s and definitely in the 90s would have either yelled or refused to do or quit over. You want me to go out and stand in the ring doing nothing for 10 minutes in front of all the people? Can you hear Kevin Nash right now? Yeah, Vince, I'm going to go out there and stand in the ring for 10 minutes looking at the people and doing my fucking taxes, right? Fuck you. But that's what they do. So then Sammy versus Riddle started with 18 minutes left in the show. And Heyman was on color, but I say, you know what? Not even to hear Heyman am I going to give Riddle 18 minutes of my time. Did I miss anything, or did you see it?
I was out after the Gunther match.
Okay, well, because that was the main event for us. So there you have the entirety of SmackDown from just last night, Friday night the 10th. And that's a 2-hour program on network television. What... I mean, I always said, and this was kind of a rule of thumb, but, it's been tested over the last several years. If you've got a local wrestling program on a television station in any market in the country, as long as it's a station that people can actually get on their television in one fashion or another, your local wrestling show will do a 1 rating. It won't do any less than a 1 because that's what wrestling does. They're doing 2 million people by habit at this point. I guess this is the equivalent of their 1 local rating. Because what in the world is there that would make you want to watch this program?
Certainly not the commentary, certainly not the booking, certainly not the wrestling. It's a horrible show. It's impossible to watch.
And I mean, it's tough to watch, but it's even tough to listen to. If only there was some kind of way that I could just at least deprive one of my senses of having to go through this, where maybe I could just, it wouldn't do good to hear the wrestling show because then you wouldn't actually be able to see the fuck-ups happening. But maybe if there's some way I could watch the wrestling show, but I could hear something else, like my mother-in-law's voice speaking to me, or the sound of someone disemboweling a cat, or something that's more entertaining than WWE Smackdown. Do you think there's some way I could watch one thing and listen to another, Brian?
I not only think there is a way, I think you should use this way, because anything's better than hearing Michael Cole scream at you like an idiot for a couple of hours. And of course, we know our fine friends at Raycon have a solution.
Oh, I didn't even think about now. Of course, how could I be so stupid? I didn't even think about the Raycon solution. That's what they call them. They call them everyday earbuds, but they ought to call it the Raycon solution because they will solve your problem. If you're listening to people or things or programs that you don't like and you don't want to listen to, fuck all that noise. Just stick a pair of the Raycon wireless earbuds in your ears, the everyday earbuds that look and feel and sound better than ever with the optimized gel tips, and you won't have to listen to those people drone on with their nonsense anymore. You'll hear exactly what you want to hear. You'll program your life, whether it's when you're working out or whether it's when you're outside communing with nature. I mean, whatever you want to do with nature, it's up to you. However intimate or friendly you want to get with the woodland creatures, That's fine with me, but make sure you got Raycons in your ears when you do it. Except if you need to hear a police siren because you've gotten too intimate with the furry woodland creatures, then you might want to use the awareness mode, because that lets you hear your surroundings, or the noise isolation mode that lets you be immersed in sound. You can pick, because Raycon, they believe in letting you choose what happens with your own brains and your own ears. And so therefore, even if they fall from 3 stories off a burning building, or get lost in the rain, or get thrown overboard on a cruise ship in the Antarctic, they'll still work afterwards. Give or take, if you threw them off a cruise ship in the Antarctic, I bet you're not going to find them. So we don't really know for sure if that works. But they've got over 49,000 5-star reviews. So there must be something going on. They couldn't have paid for all of those. Anyway, right now, if you want to check out Raycon's wireless earbuds that are available at half the price of the other premium audio brands, with 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life, all you got to do is go to buyraycon.com/JCE. That's BUYRAYCON.com/JCE. You'll get 15% off your Raycon order. They just sent me and Stacy a couple of pair, and she's already started using them. She loves them. She can listen to anything. I actually put mine in last night before I went to bed and went to sleep, and she got the special kind for me, to where there's a microphone attachment, and while you're sleeping, your significant other can speak to you while you're asleep and unconscious and in a what is it? What do they call them? REM states or RAM states?
Rapid eye movement, yeah.
REM job state, whatever.
That's not
it
what
is,
they call it, nope.
where she tells me subliminal messages. And then when I wake up, for example, I got up out of bed, took my morning Russo, and immediately started shampooing the carpets, just because of what she had told me through my Raycon wireless earbuds when I was asleep last night. So if you want to control people's minds, buy Raycon.com/JCE, 15% off the control of minds, thanks to the folks at Raycon.
Or something like that. But yes, try Raycon.
Yes. You'll be glad you did.
Yes, you will.